Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Japanu Toyzu. Sorry, it's been a while, I admit it, but I'll admit I've been lazy, and there've been other things that's come up. For instance, um, Skyrim. This has really been a bane. As soon as I sit down and play this, at say like midday, I go, I'll play this for an hour, and then like 3 or 4 go by, and I go, oh crap. Time vanishes with this game. I also waited because I was waiting for a new bit of equipment when I found out it was on the way, which is something I use to do a bit of sound for this, and it's this, my Yeti microphone. So now I've got a proper one. Obviously I'm not using it now because it's not plugged in. I'm using the camera one, so when you see me on camera, it's that one. When you don't see me on camera, it's this one. I use this for the podcast now as well, and it's really good. So if the sound is slightly different, hopefully it's better. At least that was the plan anyway. It should be better, but if there's some hiccups here and there, it's because I haven't really got used to using it. I've only used it a couple of times for proper recording. I've just had it on Skype going, hello, blah, 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 blah. I haven't really used it properly until today and last week when I did a podcast. So anyway, Powermaster Prime. Thought I should tell you why I haven't been around for a while, but we'll get on with the video now with Japanu Toyzu. So we'll start off this video with a look at the full alt mode, the cab and trailer, just to give you an idea of what the full package is. But we should really have a look at the detail on the cab on its own first, and then the trailer. So let's start off with the cab, shall we? And here it is, looking very similar to its original G1 version. Well, apart from this pushy in part here and this white nub, which I'm sure we'll talk about later in the video. The only other thing of note is the smokestacks here are a little shorter, so, they don't poke out kids' eyes. And I think now it's time to look at some of the details, since that's all of his features for this mode. Now, the actual front part of the cab here is pretty cool. It's got a nice little bit of chroming here and there, 2 nice silver stickers, tinted windows, and some really nice little bits of molded detail like the window wipers, and even the pushy in part, as we'll call it, kind of blends in okay. It sticks out a little bit since it's plastic while the rest of it's die-cast metal, but it doesn't ruin the aesthetic of it. The fairly nice molded detail continues around the side here, apart from really on the blue bit down the right-hand bottom of the screen there, as you can see. But that's really, obviously, for his legs. If you didn't know, this is a Prime toy. The back end of the cab is usually the legs. So there's not a huge amount of molded detail here compared to the front. The back doesn't really have a lot of detail to it, but you would probably have the trailer there covering it up anyway, so I can let it go. And with the cab done, let's have a look at the trailer. So as I grab the trailer here, I will show you its really one and only feature, which is that, yes, surprise, surprise, you can open up the back here, as most trailers tend to do, but it's in 2 parts. Well, you'll find out why. It's quite a deep hole, but it is a limited hole. So let's put this down and grab Legends Jazz here and quickly transform him. Boom. And put him in. Problem is, he won't go this way around. You need to turn him on his side and get him into that tiny slot you saw before. And he fits in fine. You can close those doors up. Bada bing, bada boom. He is safely inside the truck, or trailer, as they're usually called. So I'll grab the cab here just because it's going to be easier to show you the detail for the trailer if the cab's attached, otherwise it's going to be at that wonky angle. And to connect it, you get the peg here and the pod here, slap them together, and there you go. And Prime can turn nice and easily there, and he can also roll pretty damn well. And there you go. I guess we should actually talk about the detail now for the trailer. So the side of the trailer here, of course, has the classic Prime blue swish, with the Autobot insignia on it for his trailer. Some nice molded detail here and there to make it a little bit more technological looking, which is neat. The back of the trailer kind of fails because of these 2 giant gaps in it. However, once you apply the stickers on, it makes it a little less sucky, because without those stickers it's just, hey, here's some big holes in the back and here's some blue. So these stickers really do help break up, I guess, the blueness of it. A problem right at the front of the trailer, if you move the cab out of the way as I've done here, is you do have kind of a big gap of just blue and upside down Autobot symbols However, the big-ass guns are kind of neat. They're weird, and I don't know if they really scream Optimus Prime, but hell, I kind of dig the design of these, giant big-ass guns on the side of a trailer. Like, how often do you see that on the road? Hopefully not often. Speaking of these big-ass guns, let's have a closer look at them, and they've actually got quite nice detail, especially on the what will become seat parts, as they've got two little crosses on there for no particular reason, and some, little grated edges, I don't know, for maybe grip, so your buttocks can really, not slide out of that seat when you're firing, I guess. It doesn't really add anything onto this mode because, it's just bits on the side of a trailer, but it does add up to something in the end. The top of the trailer here, of course, has these two big guns. However, the problem here is, as you can see, the red parts, which will become his arms, are kind of in the way. So if he wants to use these and, use them forward, he's going to have to shoot through his own forearms, which, I don't know. It's not something I'd be willing to do. Maybe they're meant to turn since they're on these little pegs, but even so, they're then going to hit off the side of the other big guns. So I'm sure there is some tactical design errors here somewhere. So I will say that I do actually enjoy this alt mode. It's a nice nod to the original Generation 1 toy, as well as updating it slightly with, granted, crazy guns. And it has a cool little bit of Japanese aesthetic to it, being insane. And I dig that. I don't really have any issues with it at all, apart from, having to blow off your own forearms. With the trailer out the way with now, this guy is a Powermaster, so let's have a look at his, Powermaster, Ginrai, or Haikyuu, whatever you want to call him. Anyway, I suppose we should talk about his articulation. You need to be careful here with the same with all the Headmasters and Target Masters, not to snap this arm off, but it moves all the way up like that. You can move it back down, and you can move this one exactly the same, but we'll just do this to make his leg move out that far. So he can twirly kick people like some crazy martial arts fighting game. You can also bend his leg this way. And if you choose to, you can bend his legs like this and make him a hella sumo. So he can go waboosh, waboosh, and fall over. Just like the real ones do, as far as I'm aware. So let's try and get him into a neutral stance, which will hopefully help him balance, because he is a bit of a nightmare to balance. I think maybe because of his backpack, his engine bit. He's a bit of a pain. But let's compare him now, I suppose, to a Headmaster, if I can find one. There he is. Plop. And a Target Master here. And, he fits in fairly well. He's a little bit smaller, and his arms don't quite match exactly. But, it looks like these guys would probably hang out in a bar together and drink some beers and whatnot, and punch some people in the nuts. And because I really can't be bothered to show you the detail of this guy, because it's so inconsequential, in my eyes anyway, I'm going to say, hey Ginrai! I think it's time to show us what you do. Okay, so after all that transforming, here we have Ginrai in his, I guess, smallest transformer mode, and we should have a look at his articulation, really, which we'll start off here with his elbow joint, which moves up and down in both arms, surprisingly. If you move up his flap panel, or his crotch, you can lift his legs up, and I'll actually show you why you need the Powermaster here. You see this clip here? Well, this is what Ginrai is for, the Powermaster's for. Without it in, you lift the legs up and they kind of click into place and you can't pull them down. And it's due to this button. When the Powermaster here is pushed in, it releases the button and you can pull the legs down, just like that. And then you put down this flap. So there's a bit of articulation. Here's some more. Knees, not very useful. They go forwards as well, because broken knees are great. You can also twist his little feet for a completely useless angle, apart from transformation, of course. You can also bring his arms in like that and attempt to get him to fold his arms. It doesn't work very well, but hell, there you go. He's folded his arms, I guess. Oh, his head moves down. So, you know, you could try and angle that if you wanted to. But yeah, that's really all the articulation you get. Remember, it is a Generation 1 toy. And speaking of him being a Generation 1 toy, he's definitely a Generation 1 toy in terms of detail. His legs are a prime example of this, requiring a lot of stickers. Granted, there's only 2 here, but it helps beef it out, because otherwise this would just be solid blue. They certainly look like legs, and that's really it. They look like legs. Blue legs. Great. And of course, speaking of his legs, talking about his upper thigh now, and we've got some quite cool stickers here, which again add a lot of robot detail, because these were just solid grey plastic before, and adding these stickers helps just add a little bit more to it, which is appreciated. The waist and crotch area, again, doesn't have a lot of detail. It's very smooth, with one sticker breaking up the solid white. This particular figure really does hinge on the stickers. If I've had it without the stickers, and it's horrendously bland, especially this chest without the blue stickers on for the window screens and the shiny grey bits next to the grill, and even the Autobot insignia. This without the stickers is incredibly bland. With the stickers on, however, it looks quite nice, especially the nice glossy blue stickers for the window screens. Granted, they don't match up exactly with the window screens in the actual truck mode, but, you know, these are non-translucent plastic, so it's different. It doesn't annoy me anyway. Things that also don't annoy me, I suppose, are the hands. They're a fairly nice mold. They look like a hand. Granted, they've got a giant peg in for holding his guns. I guess it could have done with a bit more colour. Perhaps a sticker in the triangle shaped dent you've got there. But luckily there is a silver sticker, again, to break up the barren blue that we have here. And finally we have the head. Very Generation 1 styled Optimus Prime head, though I think it's a little bit more, I don't know, cartoony. It looks less angular and more rounded, especially around, I guess, the parts you'd consider to be his ears. And he's got quite big eyes as well, which makes him look a little less threatening than, say, Movie Prime, who wants to kill you and wear your insides for socks. Or, you know, use your socks in the Christmas spirit as stockings, or things to fill stockings with. That being said, here is my Prime next to this Prime, an older Prime. This one here is die-cast, this one's all plastic. And you can see there's a couple of, not huge details, but the eyes here are bright red if we zoom in. You can see they're red, so he looks hella evil, while the reissued version, which is mine, has the light blue eyes. I think the reissue is better, but I suppose it's personal choice at this point. I'm sure you could probably get the reissue a lot cheaper as well, so just something to consider if you wanted to go for the original or what I have, which is the reissue. But of course, he has a trailer, and trailers like to transform, I hear. So let's transform his trailer into his first mode, the base mode. And so here it is, the base mode, and I'll be honest, at first when I got this toy, I really didn't like it. It was really, really bland. I applied the stickers only just before doing this video, and as soon as I did, it made this mode work a lot better. Just imagine all of these stickered areas bland and grey, and you will see an entirely different toy altogether. One that really isn't very inspiring for any kind of base mode. But with these stickers applied, it really brings it to life. I mean, you've got these cool ramps, you know, with arrows to say drive, you know, away from the base, which makes sense instead of into it. You've got a cool giant Autobot insignia, which is always neat. And you've got these giant hella big guns. Now, this blue bit, where you'd, you know, attach the cab to the trailer, I'm pretending is a gun. I'm not sure if that's the official way you do it or not. But hell, you could argue it's some kind of gun, I'm sure. And of course, if you get yourself your Prime and you slam him in there, and you start adding bits and pieces here and there to the base mode, it turns out looking fairly good. It's not amazing, it's no Fortress Maximus, it's no Metroplex, but for what it is, just a kind of add-on simple base, it's okay. It's a lot better than the original Generation 1 Prime's repair truck mode or whatever that was, because that was really not good. All in all, for an extra little feature, which they didn't really have to put anything into, it's turned out okay. It gives that, old school toy a little bit more playability to it. But now I suppose we should really have a look at the true mode of this. So we'll take Prime away, and we'll take everything else off of here and get it set up for its final mode. I think you know what's coming. I think you do. Yoink. That's right, we finally have Powermaster Prime, or I guess Super Ginrai if you want to go Japanesey on you. But let's have a quick look over his detail now, starting of course with his legs. And again, they're okay. They're not great. If you could have took the wheels away, it probably would have helped the feet look a little bit better. And the single sticker it has on the side there is okay. Nothing amazing there. On the front, you've got a couple more stickers, and the actual feet part, where I guess for the toes, kind of looks a bit weird because they're huge. He has, think about this, guys. If you had toes or feet that big compared to his shins, or I guess his knees, where the stickers are with the little arrow on, just think how big this guy's feet are, height-wise. It's kind of weird and crazy. So I'd say maybe the proportions are slightly off. But again, Generation 1 toy, you gotta let things slide. The waist is a bit cooler, however, because his actual legs, at least on the front, have been chromed. Around the sides, they're not chromed for some odd reason. I don't understand. And we've got a weird sticker on his crotch, which helps break up the super whiteness of it. And I've pushed it into the slots and grooves. Otherwise, I've done this just so it holds in a lot better, because otherwise it's just lying on the top of 3 of these little detail parts, which didn't look great. So pushing it in, gave it a bit more detail while adding color to it. The chest obviously houses the cab mode and Ginrai or Haikyuu or whatever you want to call him, and it looks quite good. It would have been better again if you could have hid the wheels for the cab mode a bit more, but I'm not going to complain. Some nice stickers on the side there, and just general nicely molded detail on this new trailer part of the chest, which is quite cool. The hands look a lot like hands, They've got a thumb, I should say. They've got fingers. I've got fingers, I can hold things in my hand. Granted, I don't have a hole in my hand that you can only put pegs into, but, if I did, I'd be almost identical to Powermaster Prime here, so that's cool. Nicely detailed arms, actually, as well. The giant port here, obviously, is for his giant guns. I've taken it off just to show you what it's like. The elbow design is nice, but I think I could have lived without it if it meant him actually having elbow articulation, which we'll talk about later, though that conversation will be very brief. So finally, let's talk about his head, and it's a little bit silly. It's a little bit oversized for the rest of the figure. It's huge. It's really big. His eyes are giant. And something that's kind of interesting is, remember how the smaller Optimus Prime, or Ginrai, or whatever you want to call him, had blue eyes? And the original had the red eyes. Well, as you can see here, the big version, and this is, the reissued head, has red eyes, so... yeah, that's kind of a strange choice. I don't really know why they went that way. The head, like I said, isn't great, but it doesn't completely destroy the entire aesthetic for me. Especially with, you know, things that are going to be coming in the future with this guy. You know, something resembling a god. Okay, so let's have a look at this guy's articulation, shall we? Yeah, he's very heavy, and you can move his arm up and down because it's on a ratchet. It can go in and out like that, I guess, but it doesn't really work too well. You can open his legs up, so you can have him sit down and do the splits, which is great, or kick, I guess. And unfortunately, this is literally as much articulation as this toy has. This is the best example of a brick transformer you're ever gonna get. Yeah, it's kind of sad, really. But anyway, let's look at his guns, and they're actually not too badly detailed for what they are. So let's shove them in his hands, and he's like, "Oh man, I've got some guns, son. I've got 3 here, and I've got like 3 here. It's like I've got 6 guns to shoot dudes. I love guns. Rah!" Unfortunately, those are really his only accessories, I'm afraid. So my final thoughts on Powermaster Prime, or Super Ginrai, I guess, are it's okay. If you like the kind of Japanese, kind of super combining robots, you might have some enjoyment with this. If you look at it simply in its super form or Powered Master mode and go, that looks stupid, then you probably won't enjoy this. Or if you like articulation in your toys, you're probably going to be disappointed here. However, I kind of dig it, like I say, for the Japanese, little tweaks here and there. And I think overall it's quite a nice update to the Generation 1 Prime look. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on Powermaster Prime or Super Ginrai or however you like to call your Transformers. Until next time, people, thank you for watching, and I'm sure I'll have something in the future, hopefully sooner than I did for this video anyway. Thanks, guys, and see you later.